to Goon or not to Goon? The answer is not to Goon.
When I was like 15 in the 10th grade, there was this girl that I had a crush on. She was...
Bro, I love these sort of videos. What era was this? Like 2018, 2019? These videos had a chokehold on YouTube. These faceless YouTubers with this exact game in the background and CSGO surfers just say hella made up stories now that I look back at it. Because there's no way you had that interesting of a life. Like Batman has less stories than you do. And the worst thing these YouTubers could make is do a face reveal, bro. Because I remember myself vividly once unsubscribing from YouTube channels after they did a face reveal. Because when you watch the content, you have this sort of person in mind and it makes the story even better or more interesting. It's the same reason people sometimes like reading books over watching movies. Because you can let like your imagination run wild. But when you face reveal and I'm like, oh, just some normal guy. Now I know who to think of every time he says a story. It just loses a lot of its essence.
It was like kind of quiet. She was like one of those smart girls that was still popular, not like a cheerleader or like that typical like popular girl aesthetic. But
ball knowledge. And the thing is with me, I don't even know they exist until like 6 months into school. 6 months in, I'm like, oh, you've been here the whole time and you're the best looking in the class. And you already know I always bag that, bro. Why am I lying?
Everybody liked it, right? She was in the 11th grade, so she was a grade above me. And she was a student aide in the library, so like an assistant librarian, some shit like that. And she was a little taller than me. She wore like these big, not too big, but like, you know, the circular rim glasses. Kind of low key, like just typical hot librarian look type shit. You know, like I said, I thought she was insanely attractive, but she didn't.
Nah, but that aesthetic ain't for me, bro. That like Detective Sherlock Holmes female edition, it ain't really for me. To each their own, though. A good type, though. The quiet girls low-key got it, bro.
Didn't really know I existed for real. And one day at lunch, right, I was in line and I didn't know she was right behind me. But I was in line with my friends, you know, we was doing the typical, just being...
And then you look behind you, you realize she's there and you forget how to walk. All of a sudden, you're insecure about everything. The best thing you can wear is confidence and a smile. Now, but trying to act nonchalant, like fixing my hair without making it seem like I'm fixing it just because she's behind me, bro, like, it's so corny. And it does absolutely nothing. Nothing changes. It's just like an insecure episode, I guess.
Us being loud and being fucking stupid, like always. And I forgot what we were doing, but my homie Kendrick accidentally pushed me a little too hard. And I ended up hitting the person behind me. And when I went to look, I saw it was her. And dog, my face just went flush. I was like, oh shit. You know, I didn't really know what to say. Like, I had turned around to apologize, and when I saw it was her, and I saw that she was pretty, like, clearly visibly annoyed, I just kind of said like sorry and turned around, and I gave Ken...
See, this is why he's not bagging, bro, because he's putting her on a pedestal. Like, gang, you gotta treat her like a normal human being, which she is, a normal human being. I never understand the obsession with looks, like, especially when it comes to how you treat the person. Like, obviously, if you want someone you are attracted to, that's completely normal, like, obviously. But at the same time, you know the difference between someone who's attractive and someone who's not attractive? Millimeters of bone in their face. Like, you know how insignificant that is? Like, oh, their cheekbones are 2 millimeters turned upwards. Like, it's small millimeter measurements. Someone who looks good is not inherently better than literally anybody else. So treating them like they're any different is a flaw.
This meanest stink guy, because I'm like, you know I like her, bro. Like, what are you doing? So... you know, we keep it pushing, whatever, go to lunch. And at the end of lunch, when everybody got up to, like, you know, dump their trays and shit like that before we left, I just happened to be standing right behind her waiting in line. In the, like, 10 seconds I had to think about it, I decided, fuck it. So I tapped her on the shoulder. She turned around and I apologized again. A little bit more heartfelt this time, you know? Like, instead of just saying sorry, I actually apologized. And I thought she'd be annoyed. But she was actually like, you know, it's okay. She said she knows my friend pushed me, whatever. And she said you should get some better friends. And bro,
you know what's crazy? My friend pushed me, but she didn't believe me when I said that he pushed me. This exact story happened to me. It was a classmate, my friend. We were walking in the corridor, and he grabbed me and like flipping pushed me with the force of 1,000 men into this girl. And she was with her friends, and surprisingly, all of them went blind the second I was pushed. And then when we went back to class, and when the day ended, I get my bag, and I'm like, yo, why is it wet? Like someone poured Pepsi all over it. There was a smell, stunk of soda. I'm like, bro, what? And then I sit there and think for a moment. I'm like, oh, she didn't realize it was my friend who pushed me into her. She was genuinely upset at me. And then she had the gall to tell the teacher, you pour Pepsi on my bag, then you complain to the teacher about something that I did not do. Obviously, at the end of it all, she ended up apologizing because what the hell, bro? Like, from the beginning till the end, I was the victim. Now, look at me playing that card. But genuinely, like, what do I meant to say, bro? The whole situation was out of my control. Even though I don't like saying that because I'm trying to get into stoicism, but...
oh, like, I've mentioned before, but like, this was like my peak awkward, goofy, stumbling over my own words era. But you know, once in a while, your boy would land a clean little jab, right? And I said, I said something along the line. I don't remember exactly, but I was like, well, you should be my friend then, right? And she smiled, and
Ooh.
that was all it took, though. That was all I needed. That was the fucking bell at the beginning.
There's no way he secured the bag.
The fight telling me to get ready, man. Like, so later that same day, I was talking to my homie Eddie, and I asked if he knew what period she was doing the student aid shit in the library, because he used to go to the library a lot, and it just so happened to be during my free period. So I was like, oh, the stars are aligning, bro. So I went and got a library card, and I started going almost every single day. Like,
Bro, they're applying the same strategy as like the Mormon church. I keep on getting ads, and every time it's a attractive female. Like it's never a guy. It's never someone who's any less than model worthy. Like we clearly can tell what sort of strategy you're employing. Like trying to get people, usher people in the direction of God using something which I'm pretty sure the Mormons consider a sin, which is like intimacy before marriage, but that's sort of what you're using to usher them in. I don't know, man. Like it's just weird.
At bare minimum 3 days out of the week to the library. And from the jump, bro, I was making attempts. I would like ask her for a book recommendation. What was it like being a student aid? Just basically any excuse to talk to her. And it took like almost 2 months. It had to be at least like 6 weeks of going almost every fucking day. But I finally was able to get her number. And boy,
oh hell nah, 6 weeks. Oh, that's a skill issue, bro. I can't lie. Yo, girls like want a relationship like even more than guys do sometimes. That's a realization you make when you like mature a little bit, bro. You need to make the first move. It's just usually girls don't make the first move. That's the biggest thing. Like just have the balls to, bro. I think within week 1 you could have secured the number. The number, bro. Come on.
Let me tell you, Shorty was a tough cookie to crack. It took almost 5 months of texting and like talking on the phone and shit, and talking to her at school before I finally started to catch a little bit of rhythm with her for real, to the point where I would feel comfortable asking her out. And I finally built up the courage to ask her if she wanted to hang out sometime. It was like right after my
5 months. That's the thing. Like when I look at somebody and they're like with a bad beat, I'm like, bro, yo, screw this guy. But then I realize, bro, they've been investing into this relationship for like 2 years, okay? It's not like they walked by the side of the street and were like, yo, you come with me.
16th birthday. The school used to end on, I think it would be like the last day of school was like May 25th, right? And then a week later, May 31st was my birthday. So I had told her like right before school ended, yo, I'm gonna turn 16 soon. We should hang out during the summer. So after I turned 16, maybe like 3 days later, I went and got my license immediately so I could, now I could pick her up myself. I gotta have her come pick me up, or
See, this is how he secured the ball. I can't even lie. At that age, being able to drive was like, it was a status symbol, bro. You were instantly a part of the cool people.
After I got my license, I asked her out. She said yeah. And see, the thing is, I'd also hit my second growth spurt. The little youngster went from being like, I think I was like 5'6" towards the end of that school year to like, I shit you not, bro, I was like 5'8" almost overnight. I think within like 2 or 3 weeks, I grew like 2.
Yeah, you know what that is? That's physically impossible. You just measured it wrong. You started using guy measurements, which is like you gotta add at least like 2 inches everywhere. Genuinely never had someone give me a straightforward height. Everyone's insecure about their height, bro.
Inches. It was fucking crazy. But all of a sudden, I'm taller than her. I was bigger than her. So I had a little bit more confidence, So we hung out, I don't know, once or twice at like the park, or go get McDonald's, or just, like regular shit, whatever. Teenager dates. Neither one of you got a lot of money or a lot of options. And then one day she asked if,
like, it depends what counts as a date, but yeah, bro, them teenage dates where all the little kids would go to McDonald's afterwards and just hang around each other. No one's making the first move. Nothing is happening. They're just around each other's vicinity, and they're all so awkward. Like the vibes in there were so dead. It was funny because all the popular kids would be trying to like talk to each other, and it's very awkward, and they don't know what they're doing with themselves. And then me and my group of ragtag dumbasses would go in there just with our basketball, just running around the McDonald's. Obviously not causing a disturbance. We were actually pretty mindful, to be fair, like for our ages.
If we could go to the city library together. And I figured, I was like,
and you know what it is? Once they saw how much fun we were having, bro, those popular girls were trying to get close to us, bro. Like we were low-key on some nonchalant shit. Like we were above our years. While all the other people in our year group were just awkward and like didn't really know who they were. We were like ahead of our time.
Like this is kind of her element more. Like this is her domain. And she asked me to go with her. So I was like, shit, bet. I jumped at the opportunity. I was like, oh, maybe she's really, really feeling me now, So we went. I didn't have a membership or whatever to the library, so I signed up, threw that shit, like the little card in the back of my wallet, and I followed her around like a puppy for 3 or 4 days that week. But on the last day of the week, either the third or fourth time. Something was a little different that day. You know, we sat down in like this little corner of the library where like the lights were dim. It was a rainy day. It was low key kind of a vibe, a little bit of a mood. And she sat like extra close to me in the library. You know, like we sat side by side and she like had her arm up against mine, making physical contact. At one point she like laid her hand on mine while she was reading. Heart was beating out my chest, dog. I was nervous.
See, that's the situation where do not fumble, bro, because it's so easy to fumble this. Like, it's so easy in that situation to just like turn timid and expect things to happen. But if you don't take initiative, trust me, it's gonna die down pretty quick.
As fuck. We were there for probably like 2 or 3 hours, and we're getting up and getting ready to go back to my car, right?
Or if it's at least like not mutual, if you're just sat there sort of letting it happen without like any sort of mutual interest being shown, yes, it's not going anywhere.
We walk out the front door of the library, and the library is right next to like the city park. So you make a right and you start walking towards the park, and I parked the car in the parking lot. God damn, I just said park a lot of times. Anyway, as we're walking towards my car, you know, and I opened the passenger door for her to, you know, put her books and whatever the fuck else in there. And as I was walking around to my side of the car, she came behind me and grabbed me and she just started kissing me and shit, right? And this wasn't my first kiss, but this was probably like kiss number 3. So I still wasn't like great at it, but I was kind of getting in my bag. We start just honestly making out, and she ends up kind of leading me to the back seat of the car.
Damn.
And it was an experience, I'll say that. And I found out a few weeks later that
I know it sucked cheeks, bro. I can't even imagine. In some small ass car, you're both crammed in. Like, no one's enjoying that. I can't even lie. I'm not speaking from experience though, so maybe I'm wrong.
she was actually going to be graduating early. She was only going to be in senior year for like 3 months to get the last few credits that she needed. I think like just 1 semester, and then she was out. Like I said, she was smart. She was taking advanced classes, all that shit, whatever. So obviously things kind of ended up fizzling out after like another month or 2. But the reason I mention all this is not actually because of her, but that library card. You remember how I said I threw that shit in the back of my wallet? Well, it's an old wallet. It's a different one from the one. I got a wallet when I was like 17, and that's the one I've been using literally for the last like 13, 14 years. But that wallet...
Goddamn, you 30? Unk, bro. See, if he face revealed, I would definitely be unsubscribing if I was like, how old was I when I was watching these videos? Like, young as hell? Because I'd be like, oh, I can't relate to you on a single thing. It's surprising how little information the voice actually, like, tells you about a person.
That I had in high school, I kept it because I had, like, some pictures I took back in school, you know, shit from the school. It was, like, memorabilia.
Wait, hold up. Crody, is that the girl? Nah. You telling me either one of you tapped? I don't know which one's him, but you're telling me that either one of you gooners tapped? Hell nah, man. Looking like perfect Peter with that button up, bro. Looking like young Sheldon. There's no way you got nothing. And look at this hype house archetype looking at, like, go back to TikTok, gang. Go back to Vine. What did you have back then? Squarespace? Oh, hell no.
You know, shit from the school. It was like memorabilia and like nostalgia shit, so I kept the wallet. I found it like a few weeks ago in my dresser, right? And I started looking through it, and I found the old library card, and I remembered why I even got that card in the first place, and I remembered her and everything that happened, whatever. And a couple recent videos, I've mentioned that I've been really like putting in a real effort to just kind of better myself and my lifestyle in general. You know, I've been locked in. I've been eating so much like healthier, better portions. I've been like watching my caloric intake and shit like that. Like I've really been on my P's and Q's with that shit. I've been exercising a lot more regularly. I've been going to the gym a lot more consistently lately. I've been trying to make sure I spend more time outside in the sunlight, in nature, playing with my dogs, going for a walk, whatever. Just, you know, like I said, on my Soluminati fucking geyser shit. Just trying to, you know, get some of the warmth and the vibrations of the sun soaked into my skin and my soul, you know what I mean? Trying to make sure
You know how bad, you know it's bad when people talk about the sun like it's this foreign entity, this unknown flying object. The rays of the sun, they just make me photosynthesize and start waving about. Like that's how little sunlight we get. It's almost like a mystery, bro. It's an enigma.
I get better sleep, which sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That's a whole nother topic. Insomnia is a fucking bitch. And
Everyone blames insomnia. Oh my god, I had a hot take, and I know I'm gonna get like a lot of hate for this because like 1 in 3 people has insomnia. But the truth is, it's a collection of your bad habits. Like no caveman was necessarily struggling as much, especially as a population. There was nowhere near as many people who had insomnia or were struggling to sleep, even if they did have the same level of diagnosis back then. It's simply because of your bad habits. Like when the sun comes down, why do you have your phone this close to your face? Like, you know, your brain can't differentiate. Like, it thinks the sun is still up, and your brain is still active, even though it should be shutting down towards the end of the night. Like, you have so many bad habits, and then you blame, oh, insomnia. Obviously, I don't know his specific situation, but it's a recurring phenomena.
I hate her. Another thing I didn't mention is, I don't know how to put this, I guess, reducing goon time. So, like, all right, let me just, don't get it twisted, all right? I've never been, like, a gooner. Like, I know a lot of y'all little motherfuckers are. I've yanked it no more than normal. Like, I don't even do this shit daily. Like, shit, sometimes it'd be like twice a week, you know what I mean? It's natural, so like, I know it's kind of awkward to talk about, but I'm an adult. A lot of y'all are adults, or at the very least old enough to fucking know better.
Apparently, like with what the literature said, not that I've read the literature, I'm just, yo, the way I just be talking out my bomba class sometimes, what ChatGPT said, it's like, yeah, doing the act is natural, but watching it is not. Watching it is literally like, you're watching 2 other people, like, it's weird. It's a lot more weird than we make it out to be. That's what's actually unhealthy. The act of doing it, I mean, as long as it doesn't affect your life, I'm not a scientist, so I wouldn't know, but I don't necessarily see something that's extremely alarming about it, as long as it's reasonable. But at the same time, bro, do not underestimate how much it actually affects your relationships. Like if you do it too often and you have no drive, the other person who might not do it as often as you do or at all, there's gonna be a mismatch in what you want. Like your relationships, especially the more intimate ones, will definitely suffer. That's a fact.
It's natural. Shit happens. You gotta do what you gotta do, whatever. But one of the side effects that I didn't realize or think about of living a healthier lifestyle that didn't click until a couple weeks ago, I think the boys are back with a vengeance. And I'm not talking about Amazon Prime here. Like, I've felt the testosterone increase. I've felt like low key, like, I don't really know how to explain it, but my muscles feel tighter in a good way, not like tense.
Okay, this is BS, bro. When boxers say, oh, it makes my feet feel weaker. Like, why are you lying? No, it doesn't. Like, you do it for self-control, to practice self-control, which is understandable. But also to, like, further my other point. If that is something that is on the table, you will have less drive and less initiative to actually pursue a healthy mutual relationship. Because, there's always a plan B. I can not have confidence and not make the first move and not take initiative, even when the mutual interest is shown, then yeah, it becomes an unhealthy coping mechanism for a lack of confidence.
It's like I have more energy and I'll just be honest, a much higher sex drive. And you know, I'm gonna admit, I've kind of felt the urge to possibly have more like casual hookups and shit lately. Like I said, that urge is very hard to overcome. And it was just kind of leading me into some questionable conversations and just doing shit that was a little out of character, right? So I kind of...
Yeah, if you ever see yourself downloading a dating app, bro, just know you're in a bad place mentally. Like, I can't think of... Like, it is such a sort of statue, a symbol of how far we've gone technologically, but how that advanced technology can be used to and applied to something that isn't necessarily the healthiest out there. Like, I think meeting someone in person will always be better than meeting them on some application somewhere. And if you're on a dating app just looking for a one-time fling, like, I'll be honest with you, that is just not productive, like, at all. That is lust in full display. You're not trying to build a relationship. You're not trying to accomplish anything with the other person. You're not even trying to look for a friendship necessarily. Like, I'm talking about a lot of people that are on the apps, not everybody, obviously. Some people use it to connect with people in a normal and healthy manner. But other times it's just people looking for a one-time fling, and you're just acting purely based off of lust. Like, there is no logic behind that at all. But obviously, if it's 2 consenting adults, I genuinely don't care what you guys do. Like, it's none of my business.
Update probably, I want to say, 3 or 4 weeks ago. And the other day that I found that library card, you know, I've been kind of thinking maybe about starting to try reading again. I'm not trying to be like a health guru or like completely 180 who I am. I'm still the same Yankee dumb motherfucker that you've been listening to for however long.
Yeah, books are the biggest scam ever. Do not read. Like, I'm the one influencer that will look at you guys and tell you do not read. Screw reading. We've evolved so much. Why would I be reading? That's like instead of sending a WhatsApp message, sending a carrier pigeon. Like, no, buddy, I'm not gonna read. Hey, ChatGPT, tell me the answer. Tell me a fun story. Play a YouTube video. Audiobook. It's information. I just don't have to use my eyes and stay awake. And then I have to listen to a bunch of garbage I don't want to listen to because the book's trying to look bigger on the shelves so they can charge a higher price. Like, no thank you, bro.
I'm still the same guy, but, you know, I do want to live a little bit healthier and just, you know, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to play the long game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but books are good for you if you struggle with staying off your phone before sleep, because that's the main thing that, obviously not a medical professional, but it's a big factor to why people have so much insomnia. Like if you read an hour before bed and cut all screens during that hour, you will 100% have better sleep. That's almost scientific.
Like with my life and with my health and what I want to do with myself and shit like that. So I've been thinking about reading again. So I actually went back to my local library to sign up, and I've been reading lightly here and there. I checked out 1 or 2 books. I started going back like probably about 3 weeks ago. And at the same time, obviously, like I said, I've been trying to focus on controlling my, I guess, increased libido. You know, it's been a while since it was this high, to be honest. And, you know, your boy Yankee not trying to be a hoe or be a goon or nothing like that. So I've just been trying to keep myself contained as best as I can. You know, I ain't got a girlfriend or nothing right now, so it's kind of, and you know, casual hookups in this day and age, a lot of people got shit that they don't admit to. You gotta be careful. So I found a book.
See, that's facts. There's people that like giving with their diseases to other people. Like, I don't know what other way I could put that. There are some really messed up people out there, bro. And if you are going out of your way to take public transport or drive to some stranger's home so you could do the deed for an hour and then go back home, like, yeah, that was not a smart play. Like, obviously you only live once, do whatever you want with your life. It was, as long as it was mutual. But let's just say Marcus Aurelius wouldn't necessarily be fond of it. The Stoics wouldn't necessarily consider it a great thing you accomplished.
Right. Probably like 2 weeks ago, that I found pretty interesting, and it was about like spirituality and like the connection between like what you put in your body and what you get out of it. Like, you know, if you put garbage food in your body, you're gonna feel shitty. If you put more natural and healthy things in your body, you're gonna probably feel more healthy, and you know, that kind of stuff. And I got to a point in the book recently that was about the relationship between sex and your spirit. And you know, it mentioned how our bodies and spirit, much like everything else in the world, are subject to the laws of equivalent exchange. And
I don't know. Every time they mention spirit, it's almost like they're trying to manipulate you, even if it's not in a negative way. They're trying to manipulate you using these ideas, whether they're true or not, to rewire your brain. Like when they say, oh, there's a higher being, they do that in anonymous meetings as well, as in Alcohol Anonymous or Yada Yada Anonymous. They speak of a higher power, and it's not even what the higher power is. It's just believing that there's a higher power that wants the best for you, and then putting trust in that. Like, it is voluntary manipulation is what believing in the spirit is.
Basically, you know, if you're actively and overly expelling energy, i.e. gooning, arguably what is your own life essence, you know, from yourself, then there's going to be an imbalance in your energy. You're expelling too much without replenishing it with something else.
That's straight BS, but if it helps you stop chronic gooning, like, yeah, sure. You get what I'm saying? This is what all this spirit and energy talk is about. Like, none of it's real. We're all just organs and cells clumped together.
And it's just kind of, I don't know, it's got me thinking about, like, just the amount of emails and DMs that I've gotten from you guys about, you know, asking about like corn addiction, gooning, and just like other unhealthy habits that kind of revolve around sex and stuff like that over this last like year or whatever. And I could
kind of... I can't lie, do not text me about no BS like this, bro. I am not a professional, gang. When people ask advice from the wrong people, I'm always like, why would you? Like, what? Is there no logical thinking? Why am I asking a YouTuber about something a doctor would know? You know what a YouTuber does? He's just a normal guy who sat in front of a camera for a year or two. There's very few people that are more knowledgeable in general than you are. You need to look towards specialists, people who have dedicated their life to something. If you want to know, yeah, how do I speak in front of a camera? Yeah, then you go to a YouTuber or streamer. Now, when it comes to how to stop chronic gooning, like, what are we talking about?
I kind of somewhat feel myself heading in that direction. Not that I was like gooning and shit like that, but just it's really just been like sex has been on my mind a lot more, like kind of all of a sudden. And while it is an uphill battle for most men and women too, obviously I'm not a woman, I can't speak from a woman's experience, but I'm pretty sure we're all sexual beings. I gotta tell you that, you know, controlling yourself and living a healthy lifestyle and being careful about what you're giving or swapping energy with has like so genuinely had me feeling so much better this last like probably 2 or 3 weeks, more than I have in like the last 2 or 3 years. And
Damn.
like don't get it twisted. I'm not saying like everything is sunshine and rainbows and life is hunky dory and that you eat right, you go to the gym a couple times a week, and you don't jerk off every 10 minutes. All of a sudden, fucking, you're gonna become a rich billionaire, and you're gonna be shredded, and like, life's gonna.
See, but these are the measurements he uses to measure happiness or success. Being a billionaire, being shredded. Bro, I think billionaires and people that are shredded are probably, I wouldn't say they're miserable, but they're just as likely to be as happy as you are. If you're not gonna enjoy the journey, then trust me, you're gonna be very disappointed by the end. The Stoics believed there are only 4 things that mattered, and everything else was indifferent. Like, it was preferable to be wealthy and have status, but it did not define a good life. 4 things that mattered were courage, wisdom, temperance, and justice. And I strongly urge any of you to implement those virtues. They're called the 4 cardinal virtues. Read about it. Read about Stoic philosophy. If you ask AI, if you ask literally any philosopher, what is the most practical philosophy? Most of them will say Stoicism. And you know what's even more interesting? There's a person that goes by the name Marcus Aurelius. He was a Roman emperor. He was a strong follower of Stoicism. And he had this notebook, this diary that he would write into. And he never meant for it to be published. So it's literally the private thoughts of an emperor who is one of the most notorious Stoics. And you get his private, unfiltered thoughts. Like, you know how crazy that is? Like, if that doesn't intrigue you, then I don't think anything will, bro. After his death, they took his diary and like published it. It's called Meditations.
Be perfect. I'm not saying that. I still have depression creep into my head once in a while, and sometimes I'll just kind of feel down. Like, I think yesterday was kind of a shitty mental health day for me for like most of the day up until like the end of it. It happens, but I can just tell you that learning how to have self-control in all aspects, whether it's food, video games, the time you spend online, what you look at online, you know what I'm talking about, the time you spend with yourself, you know what I'm talking about, all that shit. Just if you learning how to have self-control.
You'd always hear about how bad it is, but pain is the best teacher. And once you actually experience the negative effects of it, and you take full responsibility and realize that it played a part, that's when you will actually gain a lesson for life, bro. That self-control in all aspects is a good thing, even if it's not something that's inherently negative. If you can't control it, then it controls you.
And discipline it's twofold, because one, when you become disciplined, it makes learning new tasks or doing new things that you once thought maybe would be difficult that much easier. But it also gives you so much more self-confidence in yourself when like, if I can do this, then I can definitely do this other thing, But the other thing is like, dog, I really feel good. Like, I just turned 30, haha, unk, old, whatever.
Damn, yeah, haha, unk, bro. At least he's getting the bag in, bro. I'm happy for him. He made like a grand and some change off of this video, bro. Hey, if I'm a 30 and I'm making money like this, bro, I'm happy. He's a successful unk.
What the fuck? Dog, I feel as good right this moment that I'm talking to you right now. I feel as good as I did when I was like 22. And like I said, the last like probably 2-3 weeks I've been.
That sounds so depressing, bro. I thought it was like the happiest he's been like in a year or two, but you're telling me from the ages of 22 to 30 it's just depression. It's quite sad to think that like we're going through our peak right now. It's like, bro, this is the peak, bro. This is it. But hey, that's a motto for life, man. That's the story of everyone's life. You chase something, and then once you have it, bro, like even sometimes I catch myself in the moment. Like, you chase something, and the moment you have it, you sit there and you're like, okay, that was good, but that's it? Like, I don't know. To chase something every day and use the limited amount of consciousness to pursue a goal or an ambition or whatever it is, you have to delude yourself into thinking that it is this major thing that's going to change your life and have this dopamine gate open, like, so you're constantly smiling and just giddy. But the truth is, there's very little things like that in life. And it's quite sad to think that that is the same reason that there's no universal goal that is worth achieving. Do you understand what I'm saying? Everyone has to figure out their own goals, their own ambitions, their own what's worth pursuing in my life. And the fact that you have to delude yourself to wanting to pursue something more often than not just shows that there is no one universal thing worth pursuing by every human on this earth. Like, it's really about just what you choose to delude yourself into thinking will make you happier. Whether it's money, that new car, none of it's truly gonna make you happier long term, but hey, nothing will. So I'm not nihilist. So if I hear that, I'm going, oh, okay, so I have the freedom to pursue anything I want. Like, being optimistic is always good.
Just really eating healthy. I've been eating a lot of low carb. I'm like watching my macros, watching calories. I've been eating a lot more fruits and like I've been fucking with like coconut water, like organic shit.
Yo, you turned into like the vegan teacher, bro. You turned into like a Facebook mom. Coconut water, that's what's gonna make you healthy. Bro, I have a friend of mine and he's working on his weight loss journey and he was like, yeah, I'm gonna start. I'm like, okay, so what? You're gonna start going to the gym, eating less? He's like, no, I'm just gonna cut out the Pepsi and that's gonna make me healthier and lose the weight. I'm like, what? Pepsi Max? Sugar-free, calorie-free? Like, as a matter of fact, some people drink it to lose weight because it fills you up, the gases. Like, some people are so unknowledgeable about weight loss and health and fitness in general. It's actually like you've made it this far into life without watching a Jeff Nippard video. Like, what are you doing, bro? You never clicked on an educational fitness video in your life. Never got clickbaited into a Greg Doucette video.
Been drinking a lot more water. I ain't gonna lie, my skin's always been like really clear, to be honest, but I've noticed the last few days it has a little bit of a gleam, whatever the word is to it. Like, I just been feeling really good, dog. And
yeah, that's full on placebo. I noticed that, like, looking at old photos of myself during periods of time where I was less confident, and then looking at pictures of myself now, and I'm like, I low-key looked better back then. Like, your image, your self-image of yourself is wildly inaccurate. Like, never let it control your actions or destroy your confidence, because more often than not, it couldn't be further from reality. Like, look at models like Jordan Barrett. He's public about how insecure he is, about how he battles with confidence every day. This is what is considered one of the best looking men on the planet. Like, do not ever think that your self-image is a reflection of who you truly are. Have confidence regardless. Don't let it be the foundation of the things you do or how you act.
you know, I know it's hard, and like I said, I just turned 30. I've always kind of had some self-control in some aspects, but not so much in others. I'm just now really locking into trying to control a lot of aspects of my life that were either out of control or I thought I had under control, but were slipping out from under me. So, you know, if you're like a 16-year-old, 19-year-old, 21-year-old, 22-year-old, 25-year-old, whatever the fuck, you know, we all move through life at our own paces, and, you know, we learn how to do certain things at different times. So just because, you know, I'm having success with it right now doesn't necessarily mean you will right now. You're probably at a different place in your life. But what I'm trying to tell you is that once you learn how to control urges, control addictions, control whatever the fuck feels like you're just kind of spinning out, the satisfaction, the positive benefits, just everything that comes from it feels so much better, bro. And you know, I'm hope any of y'all that are going through something like that struggle.
Not even, bro. I mean, yeah, I agree with what he said, kind of. But on the short term, you might not be happier. And by short term, I mean maybe up to like a year. Actually, a year is a bit of a too large of a time frame. But 3 months of genuine, like, you could be happier if you're doing this or that. But building positive habits, I mean, they will be inherently better for you because they're literally fall under the subsection of positive habits. Should not just be something you chase because of happiness. You shouldn't just go to the gym so you could be happy. Because that's very short term thinking. Because what happens when you're not happy? What happens when you no longer want to go to the gym because it makes you upset, because it's difficult, because it's challenging? Here's one thing to think about. Your thoughts shape your feelings influence your actions build habits, and habits build the person you become. So it's all about building positive habits regardless of how happy you are in the moment. Try finding a greater goal so it can be almost like a North Star during times where you're less motivated.
With that are able to overcome it. It's gonna take time, dog. It's taken me many years of building up the know-how and slowly learning how to control urges and stuff like that. I'm just really at a place in my life right now where I'm mentally there. You know, I've always wanted to do it, but I didn't have that mental dedication, that mental fortitude, that mental true desire to do it until now. I really just...
He sounds like me at like 3 a.m. talking about how I'm gonna stick to the gym now and I'm gonna do this and do that. And then the next day, maybe I'll be like a little more motivated, but 2 days in, I'm out, bro. 2 days in, I'm like worse than where I started.
I want to better myself. I want to better my life. And I want to, like I said, play the long game and start thinking 5-10 years in advance, because my entire life since I was 16, I was like, I might just end up blowing my shit smooth off in a year or two. So fuck it, I'm gonna just enjoy right now because I might not make it to 24, 30, whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? So like, I've lived my life so...
Yeah, you gotta stop climbing sometimes and look around and like appreciate the view. I get that, but don't have a YOLO mentality, especially if your frontal lobe isn't fully developed, because you will screw yourself for life for a horrible view, I guess. Like, you're not really gaining much by getting a tattoo on your forehead, but YOLO, well, not really, because the long-term effects are gonna be pretty catastrophic. Catastrophic.
Much, not recklessly, but just like so much for the moment, because I didn't think I'd even live long enough to see, you know, that whole, where do you see yourself 5 years from now, 10 years from now, that kind of shit. But I'm also now kind of enjoying life and starting to realize I do want to be able to look forward to things and just be able to.
Yo, a lot of us lose that as we grow up. Like, I don't think I've genuinely looked forward to something in so long. Like, been giddy, like almost like a little kid. Like, you'd wake up, oh, today we're going to the park. Today we're going to the carnival. And you'd feel genuine happiness. Like, you'd want to wake up the next day. You almost couldn't sleep. I haven't had that in so long. It's actually sad. And I think you get less and less of those as you grow up. Damn, man. Like, every person used to tell you as a kid, like, oh, enjoy it while it lasts. Bro, you never do. Like, that's a universal thing. And none of us do. We only look back at it fondly. Probably because we only remember the good parts and not the bad parts of literally being in control of basically nothing and just sort of floating where the wind is going.
You know, think, what do I want
For the greater good, I don't think, like, you should have little kids driving trucks and doing as they please.
to do with my life in 5 years, 10 years? Where do I want to be when I'm 40, when I'm 50? Do I, all that shit. So, I don't know. I've been yapping long enough. Appreciate y'all. I've been Yankee. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.
Bro, W video, man. Hey, if you guys enjoyed, subscribe. I love every single one of y'all, and yeah, peace.